Good afternoon. I hope everyone's doing well. Sorry I've been MIA in the kitchen for a while. I had the flu, as I stated in the last video I posted last week. We were going to do some work in the garden yesterday, but we had storms all day yesterday. I'm pretty sure you all know all around the United States, especially in the Midwest and in the South, we had storms. We didn't have any damage here, just thunderstorms. They did think we may possibly have a tornado, but thank goodness we didn't. But I'm going to bring you all along today. I'm cooking supper. I'm fixing minute steaks. I'm going to stir fry some cabbage, cut up some onions to go into the cabbage, and I have a few carrots that I'm going to cut up. I already have a skillet of cornbread in the oven, and I'm going to steam some rice and make gravy for the minute steaks. And actually, I forgot to get out my rice, but I'll get that out in a minute. I've had this head of cabbage for a few weeks because I was actually going to do this before I got sick. So some of it's kind of wilted, so I'm going to have to cut off some of those pieces. Okay, I'm going to get my onion cut up. Get this other one here. And get in the skillet for my fried cabbage. It's getting that time for us to start planting. Jeffrey is going to plant cabbage, onions, and potatoes. I don't know if he's going to do carrots or not. He had said something last year about possibly planting carrots this year, but I don't know if he's going to get around to it. But we're going to plant our usual, the tomatoes. Now we'll do that in May. Tomatoes, cucumbers, green beans, squash, zucchini, corn, peppers, and eggplant. I don't know if we're going to, and cantaloupe. I noticed the other day when I was in my backyard that my strawberries are starting to get, the leaves are turning green, so that's a good sign. I've got a little bacon grease in this skillet. That's what I'm going to cook my cabbage in. You can use any kind of oil that you want. Canola, grapeseed, olive oil. But as I've stated before in my videos, it's something about that bacon fat that just takes the food to another level to me. And I have probably about maybe 3 teaspoons of bacon fat. And like I said, I'm going to add, I've already added my onions, and I'm going to add carrots to that as well. And I'm going to season it with a little salt, a little red pepper flakes, and some garlic. And that's it. And you just season to taste. Get a few of these carrots in there too. Get those in there right now. And I'm just gonna slice these. They're the little finger carrots that I had in the refrigerator that I need to get rid of. But I'm gonna continue to chop this and put this in the pan for the fried cabbage. I have my water boiling on the stove for my rice. And I think I'm gonna put the minute steaks over the rice, and I'm also going to have a side of rice with just a little sugar and butter. When we were kids and Mama would fix rice, she would always fix it sweet for us with a little sugar and butter, and I always liked it that way. And like I said, I have my cornbread in the oven, which looks like it's done. Go ahead and get that out. Oh, put that over here. Get this oven off. But I'm going to continue to cut these carrots and get those in the skillet. Let my water boil for the rice and put my rice in. It's two cups of water for 1 cup of rice. And I'm going to let that heat up and get that cooking as well. I'm going to go ahead and add my cabbage. Got it all chopped. Got the carrots and the onions cooking nicely. Gonna add a little garlic powder, a little salt. Salt's not really coming out of there. And red pepper flakes. And like I said, you can add any seasonings you want. This is what I like. And I'm gonna let this cook with the lid off. Try to get all the fat on my vegetables as I stir this. And then once it cooks down a little bit, I'll put the lid on it. Let it sweat a little bit. I've got my rice cooking. I've got my other pan heating with some canola oil in it. I think it's canola oil. Yeah, canola oil. And I'm getting ready to season my minute steaks. I'm going to use the same thing here. And I've got a little flour in this pan. And I've seasoned that with salt, black pepper, and garlic powder. And I'm going to season the minute steaks with the garlic powder, with the same seasonings, the garlic powder, salt, and pepper. And like I said, I'm going to make a gravy for the minute steaks. That's the way I grew up eating minute steaks. Mama would always make a gravy, because it's a tougher piece of meat, really. And you just let it cook down in the gravy and it'll get kind of moist. Some people actually put it in a crock pot too after they cook it a little bit. And that's a good idea too, because it will kind of tenderize it as well. But that's not the way I'm going to do it today. See here. Okay, my grease is ready for my minute steaks. The rice is finished. I've taken it off the heat. And I'm gonna get my minute steaks cooking. The weather had been really, really warm this past week, but this week it's turned back cold again. Well, not cold, but cooler than it had been. It's like 40 degrees out there. I think it feels like 30 something. But last week it was in the 70s all week. It was rather warm. It was nice weather. And then we got the rain at the end of the week, and then it got cool again. I think next week it's going to warm up, or this week it's going to get warm again. Just let me use my hands. I got into the cornbread. It looked so good, I had to get me a little piece. Oh my goodness, it tastes so good. As a kid, we had cornbread every day. Daddy liked cornbread, and that was my job to make the cornbread. I'm going to get this other one in here. Let it cook for a minute or two on each side. Then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to make my gravy, and then I'm going to put it back in the gravy. The cabbage cooked down a little bit, so I went ahead and put the lid on it, let it sweat a little bit. Once the minute steaks get finished and I make the gravy, we can eat. Got my minute steaks out of the skillet, they're finished. I poured the grease off, left a little bit of the drippings in this pan. I put about 3 tablespoons of flour in here, and now I'm just going to mix this flour in with the drippings that I left in the pan. And depending on how dark you want your gravy is how long you're going to cook your flour. But I would recommend at least cooking it for at least a good minute so you won't get that pasty taste. My cabbage is finished, so I turned the heat off of that. The rice is finished, so all I'm doing is making this gravy. Once I get it to the color I like and the consistency I like, I'm gonna put the minute steaks back into the pan. And once again, we're just having minute steaks, rice, cabbage, and cornbread. And I'll probably have some applesauce on the side. But I'm just gonna keep stirring this until I get the color I like. Once I get the color that I like, I'm gonna add the water. That's the way Mama taught me how to do it. And she always said use hot water. So I've got some hot water in that jar. And then once I get this to the consistency I like, then we're good to put the meat back in there. And always make sure when you're making your gravy that you get all those bits that are stuck to the bottom of the skillet, because that will help give your gravy flavor. And also, once you get to the consistency that you like with your gravy, then you can go back and season it. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, whichever, and taste it before you put your meat back in it. Okay, the gravy's at a color I like. I'm gonna add my water slowly and stir. Turn your heat down as well. Gonna add all of that in and keep stirring. And at the beginning you want to stir it constantly because you don't want any lumps. And it will gradually thicken up. Okay, everything's finished. I'm gonna go ahead and fix my plate. Got a piece of cornbread on my plate. I'm gonna get some of this cabbage. Get some rice. I decided against fixing sweet rice on the side. I think I have strawberries in the refrigerator. I think I'm gonna peel some strawberries and maybe an orange and a banana and have me a fruit salad. That'll be my sweetness. You know, I don't want all of that. That minute steak's kind of big, so I'm gonna cut it in half. Nice and tender. Both are pretty big here. Okay. And put that over my rice. Making a mess here. But that's my supper today. Cornbread, minute steaks with rice, and fried cabbage. And of course, I have my applesauce. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. Thank you all for supporting our channel. And remember, we're getting ready to start the work in the garden, weather permitting. You all have a blessed day and be safe.